Resourceful Squirrel and Hungry Bear. Periwinkle the Squirrel was an awfully clever little chap, and was renowned for his lucrative resourcefulness and therefore an endless supply of delicious snacks. It didn't matter if it were nuts and seeds or juicy morsels from generous picnic tables. Periwinkle was able to stash his supplies all over the forest, never once forgetting where his jubilant feasts may be buried. One fresh spring morning, as Periwinkle delightfully unearthed the recent supply of horse chestnuts, Ginkgo, the vegetarian bear, awoke from his long winter's sleep. Ginkgo gave a mighty yawn and rubbed his sleepy eyes. "Good morning, Mr. Hibernation," Periwinkle jovially chirped in the sleepy bear's direction. "And how are we feeling this fine spring morning?" Ginkgo blinked lazily as he finally managed to focus on the little squirrel scurrying all about the forest floor. "Morning, Periwinkle," he managed through yet another mighty yawn. "I'm sure I would feel a great deal happier if it were not for the grumbling pain I feel in my empty belly." Periwinkle glanced at the bear's round belly and watched on as Ginkgo soothed the rumblings with his big bare paws. "Don't worry, hungry old bear," sang Periwinkle. "Have some of these delicious horse chestnuts and satisfy your painful hunger." "Why, thank you, little friend," he replied, grabbing a huge handful and chowing down on their nutritious shells. "Honestly, Periwinkle, we don't know how you do it. You hide your stores all over this 100-acre wood, and never once have you forgotten where your tasty treats are buried. Why, sometimes I struggle to remember my own name. If only I had a memory like yours, I'd never grow hungry again." Periwinkle laughed, and then had a brilliant idea. "I tell you what, Ginkgo, I bet you the rest of this store of nuts that I can get you to recall 10 hiding places in the blink of an eye." Now it was Ginkgo's turn to laugh. "You're so kind, Periwinkle, but as I've already explained, I have a terribly small memory for a beast of my size, and I fear I would just be wasting your time." "Nonsense," replied Periwinkle defiantly. "Come on, you have nothing to lose and an entire store of delicious nuts to gain." Ginkgo shrugged his shoulders in agreement and readied his brain for Periwinkle's mysterious list. Periwinkle smiled, took a deep breath, and began. 1. Patchwork quilt. 2. Cup. 3. Soap. 4. Feather duster. 5. Shaggy rug. 6. Music box. 7. Table. 8. Honey. 9. Wooden spoon. 10. Goldilocks. Ginkgo blinked. "Is that it? I've already forgotten what came after the cup." "Just as I thought," Periwinkle grinned. "You haven't mastered the art of your personal mind palace." "My what palace?" Ginkgo asked, scratching his head. "Your mind palace," Periwinkle patiently replied. "You know, the magical place in your mind where you can store and recall all sorts of things using nothing but imagination." Now Ginkgo was truly intrigued. "Go on, my bushy-tailed little friend. Enlighten me." "Well," began Periwinkle, "first we imagine your home. Let's use your bedroom, bathroom, living room, and kitchen. 4 rooms you know like the back of your paw. Now, I'm going to place those 10 objects inside your house in a silly story that your brain can easily remember." "It's on," said the bear, closing his eyes, as Periwinkle began his tale. "Once upon a time, in your bedroom, you were snuggled up under your favourite patchwork quilt. When you reached for a cup of acorn tea on your nightstand, but whoops, you accidentally spilled it all over your fur. So you stumbled into the bathroom, but then slipped on a bar of soap, so grabbed your fluffy feather duster to brush yourself off. Next, you wandered into the living room, where you tripped again, this time over your shaggy rug. There on the floor, you spotted a mysterious music box filled with dancing squirrels shouting surprise. Finally, in the kitchen, you sat at the table and ate a big bowl of porridge with extra honey and a large wooden spoon, all whilst reading your favourite story, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Ginkgo burst out laughing. That's completely ridiculous, but I remember everything. All 10 items? Asked Periwinkle, raising a brow. Patchwork quilt, cup, soap, feather duster, shaggy rug, music box, table, honey, wooden spoon, and Goldilocks, Ginkgo proudly declared. Periwinkle clapped his paws with delight. Bravo, old bear. You've just taken your first stroll through your personal mind palace. What a joy it was for Ginkgo to master the resourceful secret of his very own memory. And from that day forth, Ginkgo never went hungry again, because now he could always remember exactly where his snacks were hidden.